listening to a Bobby Johnson beat.
Hello everybody, thank you for joining me on another episode of Beat the Odds. It's Bassem Khalaf here. We are 5 days away from the highly anticipated 2020 NBA draft. And I say highly anticipated, not really because of the talent level that's on the board, but just because of all the questions that surround these teams that have the top 1 through 5 picks. What direction do they want to head towards? Do they want to pick up a player and build him for the future? Or do they want to trade up their pick and make some immediate impact right now? So I'm here to discuss all that. It's really interesting. A lot of rumors going around today surrounding the Warriors and some other teams. So I'm going to go ahead and break that down, do a little mock draft. 1 through 5, just because of the talent level, really dips after the 5th and 6th pick. So let's go ahead and focus on 1 through 5. So when you look at the first overall pick, we do have the Minnesota Timberwolves, who have really shown interest in Anthony Edwards. We know what he brings to the table at Georgia. He was by far one of the best scorers in college. I think his game is going to translate really well into the NBA. I could see him easily averaging around 25 a game, high-flying wing scorer. And then when you look at their other all-stars right now, D'Angelo Russell, obviously they picked him up from Golden State. We know what he brings to the table. We know how well he can facilitate the basketball. And then Karl Anthony Towns, one of the best big men in the league, can stretch out the floor really well. So I think Anthony Edwards would be a great fit. The thing that really interests me is Lamelo Ball being at minus 200 for the odds makers for him to go number 1. And I think for that reason is because of the Timberwolves' willingness to give up that first overall pick in order to get a trade in that could help them make an impact right away rather than wait a couple years for their players to develop, because I think that franchise is losing a lot of patience and they want to see success right off the bat. But if I had to make a prediction on the number 1 pick, I am going to go Timberwolves, keeping that number 1 pick and going with Anthony Edwards. So with the number 2 overall pick, we have the Golden State Warriors, and boy, do they have options with this pick. They're getting a lot of offers from other teams. We just recently heard that Cavaliers are interested in trading Kevin Love for Draymond Green and maybe swap their picks. So the number 2 would go to the Cavs and number 5 would go to the Warriors. I'm not a huge fan of this as a Warrior fan, just because of how much Draymond means to this organization. Not only does he bring it in the defensive end, but we know how much his leadership means to this team. I think they should look to keep him, because why would you want to split that trio up? You haven't had any failure with them ever since you've brought them together. So I think you should look to keep them. There's a lot of interesting names you can lean on as that number 2 pick. I think if the Timberwolves end up going with Anthony Edwards, you really might want to consider drafting Lamelo Ball, just because of how high his ceiling is, how much potential he has in this league. And I think you can do a lot. Even if he doesn't fit with you this year, you could maybe trade him away next year if there's a lot of teams that are interested, and you can pick up an all-star caliber big man. Right now, I think if the Warriors had to draft a player out of this draft, it would be James Wiseman, just because of the fit. That's the necessity they need at the moment, is a big man who can run the floor really well. He's 7'1", really mobile. That's exactly what the Warriors would need. He can bring you some offensive firepower as well, but I'm not sure if that's the direction they're going to head towards. A lot of trade rumors, so it's really hard to speculate what the Warriors are going to do. But if I had to make a prediction, I think James Wiseman is going number 2 to the Golden State Warriors. When you look up and down mock drafts, people have Lamelo Ball falling to the number 3 spot in the Charlotte Hornets, and rightfully so. I think this is the organization that really needs a superstar caliber player like Lamelo Ball. I think his potential is the highest out of all these players. He could generate the most viewership. He could sell out the most jerseys and bring in the most fans and all that good stuff. And I think that's exactly what this organization needs. I think the closest player they ever had to that was Kemba Walker, and we know his struggles. Only made the playoff once in his whole tenure with the Charlotte Hornets. And I think if they could bring in LaMelo Ball, not only will it bring in the fans, but also bring in players that might want to play with him. We know Devontae Graham's potential, so he could be in the backcourt with LaMelo Ball. I think that would be a solid start for them. And look, we know what Michael Jordan is as an owner. He's been a failure, and I think this is exactly what he needs. So if they can happen to get lucky and land LaMelo Ball, I think that would be a great addition. If they don't end up having the chance to draft him, I think Anthony Edwards would be their second best option, just because how well he might be able to play with Devontae Graham. So If I had to choose a number 3 pick, it is going to be Lamelo Ball to the Charlotte Hornets. If I'm the Chicago Bulls and I have the 4th pick of the 2020 NBA draft, I'm looking to draft Obi Toppin. I think this guy is the most NBA ready player out of everybody in the whole draft just because of his age and the way his game has developed over the years. 22 years old, Obi Toppin he kind of has like an Amari Stoudemire type game to him. A really great player on the offensive end, high flying. I think that's one part of his game that edges Amari Stoudemire's is his ability to attack the basket with so much strength and explosion. I think he's going to be a great fit in the NBA, and I think since the Chicago Bulls already have such a young team who is looking to build on what they already have with Kobe White, Zach LaVine, and a couple other younger guys, I think Obi Toppin would be a great fit to build around. Or maybe you draft him and look to trade him away to a team that needs a Obi Toppin type player, because I think there's a lot of room for him in this NBA, and I think Bulls with the 4th pick can work around him. This is a Chicago Bulls team that really hit a full reset button in the last couple of years. They have a really young core, and I think it's going to be a process for them to get back to their winning ways. So why not start off with Obi Toppin type player and build from there rather than forcing anything to happen this season. Coming in with that number 5 pick in the 2020 NBA draft are the Cleveland Cavaliers. I did discuss earlier how the Golden State Warriors might be some trade options for them in terms of moving over Kevin Love with that 5th overall pick for Draymond Green and that 2nd overall pick. Now, if this pick does not fall through, which I don't expect it to, I think the Cleveland Cavaliers have a lot of veteran presence that they could move along with that 5th overall pick that can possibly catch some eyes. They have Kevin Love, obviously Andre Drummond, who's been looking to get moved away. He doesn't really like it in Cleveland. I don't think he fit well at all. I'm not sure how they're even able to get him there. They also have like Matthew Dellavedova, Jordan Bell, 2 guys who have finals experience. So look, they have veteran pieces that they can move. I think there is possible maybe a superstar caliber player that they can bring over to help some of these younger guys like Colin Sexton and Darius Garland and Kevin Porter Jr. I think these are really all-star caliber players who are going to do some really good work in this NBA league. There are a lot of names that people are just not familiar with. I think a lot of the more recent drafts, we kind of know what to expect. We know what we're going to get out of the lottery picks, but this year, really no idea what's going to happen. I'm so excited for it. If you guys think my picks were a little off or you guys would like to see some trades, leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think.
Shorty, I'm a baller. I buy your bag, I spoil ya.